Jody. We are fashionably late, but welcome back to the Can-Am Connection.
Hey, thanks for having me.
The original Can-Am Connection, just the two of us.
The OGs of the show. All right.
Yeah.
Dude, and just so you know, I'm flipping tired. I got off work this morning. I got off a 16-hour shift at 6 o'clock this morning. So I fucking came home and oops, already. That's how tired I am. I came home, went straight to sleep. I didn't even tell my wife goodbye for work because I knew I just set my alarm so I can be ready for the show.
Well, I appreciate it, man. It's been a few weeks since I've been on. I've just been incredibly busy.
In a good way, though, right?
In a good way, yeah.
Yes.
So thank you for the people tuning in. Hopefully everyone caught it that we were coming on today after a little bit of a hiatus, but you guys held it down on your channel, right, Jody?
Yeah, we did one show on my child. Not last week, unfortunately, but I tried, but it's been like, dude, I can't tell you how many 16-hour shifts I've been pulling the last couple of weeks. So
yeah,
it's pretty yeah. But we got some business, in the words of Dusty Rose. We got big business to talk about.
So let's talk about we have a little bit of a soapbox sitting on the thumbnail of this video.
Is it little? Is it little though?
It's more of the same. If you know, it's a bit more of the same that we've been dealing with for years. So I will just give it to you straight. No bullshit.
No pulling punches. Let's hit it.
There is the leader of the Team Canada Arm Wrestling Federation, it's an organization he created, who also happens to be the WAF representative in Canada, who has impacted the MAC event in a significant way.
Right.
By reaching out to competitors and saying, if you compete at this intentionally international event, you may be banned from competing at WAF, which in turn bans you from things like East versus West. Now, the irony of this whole thing, and the thing that makes it extra dirty,
is so you're talking about Chris.
The guy that is, the guy that is in charge of giving the feedback to WAF, saying who should or should not be banned from Canada and why, is this guy. Like, he has the power to omit a name or to put one on that list. So what he is saying is, I know that I'm coming across as a very friendly guy who's looking out for your best interests. But if you choose to go and compete for Ian's event, I might put you on the goddamn banned list. But I'll act like it wasn't me. All of this is ahead of him trying to hold the WAF Worlds in a couple of years here in Canada.
He has that kind of stroke to sit there and say that?
Does he? I mean,
okay, so
it's up to him and Simon who get banned in North America. I mean, let's not take it any further down any bullshit path than that. Those two guys are the ones that feed the names back to WAF. They can tell you whatever story they want, but that's the way it is. The only way around that is if you go to IFA and you're on the list of IFA competitors, then you get put on the not in good standing list. They don't want to call it a banned list because smoke and mirrors rules everything these days. They call it a not in good standing list. And you can get off that list by writing a letter, but then you're on a last chance agreement stating that if you do it again, you're banned for life.
You know, what you just said, you can go in multiple directions for this, right? Because let's start off what you first talked about. You said that if this person decides, hey, you know what? You know, shame on you if you compete at this particular event, right? And then you won't be able to compete at, you know, a WAF or East versus West. Okay, that's cool. Let's just take that for example. So who exactly when they tell these people, and we'll use East versus West, because how many people are actually trying to go to East versus West that know they will get a call from England or Robert Baxter, whoever? Because you're saying that to random people, and you know good and damn well those people you're talking about are probably not going to be going to East versus West anyway.
Well, there are some. There are some. I mean, the one person, and I won't say this person's name because I don't want to put them at risk for anything. And yeah, we are going to make predictions, GB. That's coming up next. I don't want to say this person's name because they don't deserve any more bullshit than they've already received.
Right.
This person is a frequent WAF competitor.
Right.
So to have that taken away would be impactful in their life. All because they compete for a professional league in a super match. Like, why is that a threat? Why is this gentleman so threatened by major arm wrestling championship? Like, we're talking about leagues that are basically isolated within North America. Are they intentionally international? I guess if you invite one competitor, it kind of is. But now, like, why are they not going after? Maybe they are. Maybe they are going after things like Arm Gods. But I'll use Porkchop for an example. He competes in lots of events which could be considered intentionally international, and I don't think he's in any kind of hot water for it whatsoever. Or maybe the guy that's going to be phoning people and telling them this just pick and choose the ones that he can bully into not doing something.
Don't you think it has to be fair across the board?
Oh yeah, I won't kid myself for 1 second that it is.
Because the way I also see this too is the fact that when you talk about stuff like that, again, this goes back to how long we've been talking about this. You and I, we've been talking about this for years now, and I think it would be cool if someone can say, "Hey, I competed and won a world championship on the WAF stage and the IFA stage," and I get it, you know. And there were some comments recently that there was a post that Simon said. And I made my, post. Of course, I'm always, this is why people like me and hate me at the same time, because I can be judgmental at times. I can sit there and say my opinion. I don't back down for what I say. So,
it's just honest and having guts, Jody. I mean, it's a good quality.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look at it this way. Why, if you go to, let's just say you go to a MAC event, right? And you're a person that competes on the WAF level. And all of a sudden you go there, but then you realize, well, you might not be in good standing because maybe one of the referees they have there is the IFA ref. So based on that theory, I have a chance of not being in good standing because it's something I can't control as far as that goes. But then it goes back to, well, you can be selective about what event you go to. And to me, that goes back to, my original thought process way back when I said the athletes should go where the fuck they want to go and compete, because not all of us have the backing financially of a sponsor or anything like that. You do what you have to do to get recognized. You do what you have to do to, reach your goals, whatever that goal may be. And to sit there and have that being taken away because you got people being weird,
Well, that's what we're at, and the same old story, it continues, and I don't know what's going on. Maybe there's some panic setting in, that there is a chance that the Worlds might not come here, or that it would fail in this country or on this continent, simply because there's a lot of athletes that have been supporting the alternative. And in North America, IFA is stronger than WAF, and I will just go ahead and say that, because the North Americans do not compare to each other. The IFA ones are much larger. Canada, there's no measuring stick in Canada, but I noticed that the next year's North American Arm Wrestling Federation, which is the WAF affiliate, is holding the North Americans in Canada on the same weekend as the Arnolds.
Hey, here's Cody Merritt, who's in the chat. What's up, Cody? Send him a link. I would love to get his point of view, but I don't want to,
Shit, I'll just post it right in the chat.
yeah, come on in. And he says, where's the rest of you? Because, yeah, SB's on a mission. He's looking good. And you guys just better watch out.
I am under 310 pounds now.
Yes. Y'all in trouble.
Yeah. Trouble will be.
Well, I'll tell you what, and it goes further because it's not just here in North America. I guess you could say it's also in Mexico too. Because, hold on, let me see what Jay Clean says. If WAF is so concerned with people not showing up, then they should stop banning people for the ridiculous reasons and alienating people. They're constantly shooting themselves in the foot. Yeah,
I said it once. I'll say it again. WAF is the reason that IFA survives. Because if they just stopped all the bullshit and said compete wherever you want to go, clearly one of those events is a harder tournament than the other.
Yeah, I think we all agree to that. And we're not trying to say, okay, so another person, Luke Polsher, here's the thing. Even though he sits on one side of the fence on this and I sit on the other side, we're still good friends. I've lost friendships over stuff like this before, which is, unfortunate. And, all because opinion-based. I've got friendships, what I thought were friendships, that are awkward now because of topics like this. And it's like going, wow, really? It's just an opinion. I understand it turns into politics at times, but it's like, you got to be kidding me, right?
We have in Canada, of course. So we get together the nationals every year. We have a neutral nationals. We don't. A lot of people, this drives crazy. I think it's the only way to be right now, because you don't want to commit someone one way or the other when it could impact the rest of their career. So if we became an IFA member, there's a handful of competitors that could not come anymore.
Right.
If we're an IFA qualifier, we could not have there's a handful of people that could not come to the nationals. And winning a national title in Canada still means a lot. So we're neutral. So we put together this panel of referees every year that come in, and some of them are IFA referees, some of them are WAF referees.
Yeah.
In the past, you have seen both on stage. You've seen guys with WAF logos on their shirt. You've seen guys with IFA logos on their shirt. Some just say CAWF, some have nothing. But you get together and you compete. The same gentleman that has said this thing about the MAC competitors in the past, and I have the text messages to prove it, has said, if you go and referee at the national championships in Canada, you may be banned from WAF. Not in good standing. And that is all it comes back to. And when he was questioned on it, he also said this about competitors at one point, but denies it. But when he's questioned on it, he claims, well, it's an IFA qualifier. I'm like, no, it's not. We're neutral. Anybody can go to IFA without qualifying. In fact, you can buy yourself a buy-in to WAF.
Right.
But he sticks to the guns and he says, well, this one guy is going to be there. Well, that doesn't matter, because you could be there too. Because no matter what you want to say about the gentleman that's running Team Canada Arm Wrestling Federation, he's actually a really good referee when he doesn't get too excited and start trying to fight James Clark, apparently. But he has in the past been one of the most respected referees worldwide. And, in order to mend the fence and actually get us all back together in Canada, which is the end goal. This is not just me on a soapbox ranting for the sake of ranting. The goal in all of this, like I would love the CAWF to be the qualifier for the World Championship in 2027. But for that to happen, there's got to be a lot of change. And you can't be coming in here and dictating stuff like, I need to be appointed to a position and the sole representative in the WAF Congress meeting for 3 years. It just can't happen. It has to be done properly with an election. And there's ways to do it, but there's no give on the other side. The goalpost moves constantly.
Have you noticed that from an IFA standpoint, you don't hear that stuff from that side. Have you noticed that?
Well, you don't hear much of anything from that side. If I'm going to criticize IFA, they're not loud enough on saying what's good about them.
I mean, I you know, because I am in good standings with the IFA group, and
well, everybody is, because they don't ban anybody.
Well, yeah, but they encourage you. Like here, and this was back when you're taking your time off in your hiatus, and we talked about I don't know if you might have heard about this, where James Reed, and you know, this is not me banging on him, it's just these are the facts. So when now that we're back to X amount of nationals again here in the States, and if you were to go to IFA, right, and win first place, and you went to the Unified, you won first place, then you were rewarded with a undisputed championship belt. Now, I don't know, my original thought process was like, how is this going to work? And if, you know, is this going to be an ongoing thing? Because for some people, that might be cool because you have people posting pictures. I got the undisputed belt because I took first place in my class at both Unified Nationals and IFA Nationals. Now, I look at it like this, because some people are saying, well, you know, look how many people won the belts. Everybody from IFA. I'm thinking, yeah, but are those people going to Worlds though? They could just do it just to say, hey, I won both. Look at this. They may not have any intention of going on to Worlds on either side, right? And it's like going, and that comment stemmed from something that happened last year where Simon made a comment about, oh, IFA pulls nothing but amateur athletes. And I'm going, okay. You know,
he's criticizing both organizations because technically all WAF and IFA pullers are amateur arm wrestlers.
You know, no one's getting paid at those events.
Nobody, well, it's considered the amateur worlds, just like the Olympics is considered amateur, even though that's quite a different contrast. But WAF is still the hardest tournament in the world, and I don't think IFA is an easy tournament to win either.
No, because they say they got the best athletes. Okay, yeah, once upon a time, of course, right? Before all these different leagues and organizations came about. Now, take that same theory and say, okay, if you cut that in half or even some, and those athletes that used to be WAF are now IFA, wouldn't that even the playing field?
It'll balance it out a lot. And
yeah, you see what I'm saying?
A lot of the athletes that were previously in WAF are now IFA. So, I mean, that's how it is. You didn't just come up with new arm wrestlers. They were WAF at one point.
Exactly. Now, granted, you know, I think Luke Polster said it best, which, you know, he goes, it's more challenging to win a IFA national than unified, but by the same token, it's more challenging to win a WAF title than an IFA title. Only because the fact that with IFA, at least here in the States, that all you got to do is attend a national and then you're on Team USA. Whereas, you know, with WAF, you got to earn top 2 to be on Team USA. These for Team USA.
Yeah.
And, you know, I understand that. I hope, honestly, one of these days that IFA can go, hey, let's go ahead and tighten up. And if you want to make it seriously, then let's go ahead and go top 2 or top 3 in each weight class, qualify for Team USA. Because we invite everybody, that can start to be a shaky thing. And I understand you don't ban people, but this is just my opinion. When you start doing that kind of stuff, then it's like, okay, well, look at our numbers. You know, Team USA was represented well, and they were. But yeah, when you allow everybody to go, that's cool. But once again, it's a back and forth thing. By that same token, how many people are going to WAF anyway that made Team USA?
Well, I mean, there's an argument for which would be better. But I mean, if your country doesn't have a clear path to getting to one of those world championships, you're forced to do what you got to do. And I guess there's a buy process with WAF. With IFA, I think you just kind of show up and pay an entry fee or something. But it's it's too early for IFA to say they have to qualify through their country, because it would really limit them on the size of their event.
Well, I get that IFA had to do what they did to get established. I get that. I really do. But now the first IFA Worlds was 2019, right? It was in Poland the same weekend as like one of the Nemiroff Cups, one of the Nemiroff tournaments. And they decide, hey, we're going to have Worlds here. And then, 2020 was the only year it was canceled because of the pandemic. So they now it's supposed to be in the States, in Florida, and they bumped it to the following year. And that was the one I went to. And I understand, where there were some countries there, but there were still, not a lot of people at that time could leave their country because of the pandemic. Some still made, of course, obviously you had the three countries, which was Mexico, obviously United States and Canada, but you still had Taiwan there. You still had Brazil there. You still had Mexico there. You still had a couple guys from Bulgaria, I think. So you were still able to get some people, but now fast forward to 2025, now you can have more countries involved, But at what point do you sit there and go, okay, now we got our stuff established and it's popular. Let's go ahead and try to make it more meaningful to where, okay, now top 2, top 3, at what point do you do that? But does that happen across the board? Because I don't know. And here's the thing I'm wondering. What about the other countries that are affiliated with IFA? When they go to their, provincials or nationals, once they compete there, then is everybody invited to IFA just like the United States, or is that just us? And I don't know that for sure.
I think it's different everywhere. Like I know Sweden had a group, they were all in with IFA, and then they had 2 groups, and now they're back unified, and they're only going to WAF.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of different all the way across the board, and I don't know what the answer is. I will say that IFA has way cooler locations for their events. Like if you're looking to see the world, IFA is where to go.
Well, not to mention with WAF, it's only like we're going to give you 3 destinations. It feels like that. It feels like that.
Bulgaria, or it's like right in that core of
Turkey.
Europe. Yeah. It seems to be just rinse and repeat, kind of, okay, we'll do this country. It's different, but it's one over from the last one we were in. Or you can go to, where's it this year? Azerbaijan.
Mm-hmm.
And the next year is back in Japan. And then, I know, I can say 2027 is in Canada, but you know where I stand on that. I mean,
you're talking about the WAF ones in Canada,
WAF
right?
one. Yeah. For a counter argument, I say, Ottawa, well, that's cool, but I think you need to have a unification in Canada before that legitimately is going to happen.
Well, okay, so let me ask you this question. Because if I'm not mistaken, didn't you guys have to go out of country just to qualify for WAF?
Yes. For the last 2 years, you had to go to the North Americans, which were both held. One was in Mexico and one was in one of those Central American companies, Costa Rica. Now, in 2026, I believe the North Americans are in Ottawa. So you can qualify for WAF in Canada, but they're going head to head with the Arnolds. And I don't know, like Ottawa and Columbus, proximity is fairly close. I don't know.
Is that the same in March too?
Yep.
Okay.
So March in Ottawa.
Wow.
Bring your coat.
Yeah, right. Okay, so if one wants to qualify for IFA, where do they go?
They go to IFA and they just register and compete. You talk to Rick Pinkney in Canada and you just go.
Why can't you just have a national there or something? But then I guess that goes back to saying, yeah, I guess you guys can't be like us because we got, here's the deal. So as a bona fide Masters puller that I am, knocking on the door of Grandmasters, by the way, and and this is what I don't understand. IFA Nationals, okay, cool. Unified Nationals, cool. But then you got the Amateur Nationals. That takes place in Dallas, Texas. And by the way, that particular Amateur Nationals also has a Masters division. And I'll be like, why? Why?
But all the Nationals are considered amateur.
But here's the thing. Once upon a time, the Unified had all their Open, Masters, Grandmasters, Amateurs, all under one tournament.
Yeah.
That weekend. And now it's been like, damn, because I've been to here's my story. I've been to an IFA Worlds, okay. Took second. I've been to a Unified Nationals that qualified you for WAF, and I took third. So I've been on kind of both, before. And that was back when it was just the one national that the United States had for a couple years, I think that year was good. It was the Worlds was in Budapest. But nonetheless, it's like, why are we, I want to get to a point where I want to go win something and it means something, if that makes sense.
I just got an interesting message. I won't tell you who, because if they're sending it on here, that means they didn't want to post it in the chat. Apparently, at the MAC event, there was an American WAF athlete who had a super match with an IFA athlete, and no ban was issued. So the rules are not the same for everybody.
What I just say, things got to be across the board, right?
Yeah. So anyway, we ready to move on from this, Jody? We got some stuff to talk about.
Yeah, it almost took up a half hour. I'll be damn.
We got to talk about these matches happening at East versus West 18.
Yes. Are you getting the pay-per-view?
Well, you know what? Probably. I mean, I'm probably going to my cabin this weekend.
Yeah.
See, I mean, I've got the Starlink hookup out there. I might watch it, but there's also a pretty good UFC on right in the middle of the afternoon. So I don't know. I'll have to see. Who am I kidding? I'll watch this one. It's going to be good. I'm actually pretty excited about some of these matches because, they're guys that I've met and I know, and, now they're getting their shot on a bigger stage.
And we're getting some fresh, I don't want to say this the wrong way, but we're getting some fresh meat, fresh faces. I like that, so.
Well, let's start right there, because I think if I'm going in what I think is the order, Wallace Dilly versus Rickard Borman.
Let's do it. What do you think about that one?
I think Rickard is just different, and he is going to be too much.
How you spell it, Rickard? How you spell
Riekerd?
Well,
and he is, of course, a Knuckles Up alumni going on to the East versus West stage.
I like how you say alumni like it's a, like a
No.
Hall of Fame.
I thought you were going to go somewhere else with that.
No, not at all.
Because
I got some news about that, and when you and I get off this show,
I too have some news about that.
Yeah, and either ours is the same or it may be different. So, guys, if you guys want to find out, you have to pay Ryan and I. We're going to jack up the prices because, we got to keep this thing going. So,
yeah,
after hours,
we got to have $8,000 in super chats to keep it going and talk about that subject.
Yeah, when was the last time we had a super chat?
Oh, I don't know. It's been a minute, but
well, everyone's picking Reichert to win, and I got to say that guy is something else. However, and here's the thing, because both guys are on a trajectory going this way, right? And I'm glad these guys are getting opportunities. And this is the first real big challenge that on a big stage that Wallace has had. Now I understand, he's making his big name come out of Nebraska in the Plains, and he was invited. Hey, you've been doing good. Let me go ahead and invite you to the Bob Brown, Super 8 or whatever it was called. He took out Marcio in the championship round, so he looked real good. So yeah, I mean he's got it, but that record, man, that's hard.
Well,
it's hard.
Who you taking?
Borman.
Oh yeah. So we're in agreement on that one.
Yeah.
Then we got Ryan Belanger versus. Am I saying that right? I'm saying that with the Canadian French way, or does he just go Bellinger?
Oh no, it's Belanger actually.
Belanger.
Yeah.
Versus Alan Ford.
And here's the thing, because Ford, once again, another newcomer to the series. Now I don't like that. I'm liking that they got these guys on here, So, and first of all, Alan Ford, congratulations on your induction to the Canadian Hall of Fame. By the way,
the Ontario Hall of Fame.
Oh, was it Ontario? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Either or, congratulations.
So, I mean, Alan is a what was I going to say? He is an alumni of Magda's events. Plus,
he is like, it'd be the same as saying Jason Merlot at Knuckles Up. Like he's like a regular. Would that be fair?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's been around forever.
Yeah. So the fact that he gets on there is awesome. This is a bigger stage than Elite Arm Wrestling, or I'm sorry, Global Arm Wrestling. But I'm leaning toward Belanger, people, not Ballinger, Belanger.
I am going to. Well, I mean, it's easy to mix it up with the Ballingers that were basically royalty in the sport here for a long time.
He's coming from that. I believe he's from that Chad Silver's camp.
And yes, Jay Clean, Alan Ford was on Wipeout Canada, and I will take Alan Ford.
All right.
We're going to blast through these because we're going to have to. I'm going to pick all Canadians for a little while until we get into the a little bit later on when I might be.
All right. What's the next match you got?
Joseph Moranto versus Ivan Portela. USA versus USA. No, not USA. Portela is not American. What am I saying here?
Who's he pulling? Who's Ivan pulling?
Joseph Moranto. That was one of the guys that we couldn't talk about until now. He's on the poster. I'll take Moranto. He's too good.
Yeah, I might have to agree with you on that one. I wish I saw more of him. I really do, but it is what it is. I know by the time we start getting further up in the card, you're not going to start doing this.
Yep, we're agreeing now. You took Belanger, so we got one disagreement so far.
Right.
Then we got Paul Lynn versus Arson. I think we're probably going to agree on this one. I'll take.
I know if Tim was on here, I know who he'd pick.
Would he pick Arson or Tim or Paul?
I think he would pick Arson.
Yeah.
But I can't go against Captain America. Come on now.
No.
Can't go against him.
No. All right, now we're getting into it here. We got a left arm match.
Ooh, pique my interest. Here we go.
Light heavyweight. Matt Mask versus Irakli. Tough pick.
No, it is, because
I still think it is a mystery on where Matt's left arm is at. Everyone that trains with him seems to think that he's doing extremely well, that he's leveled it up, and it's at a point where he is like world elite. So what the hell? I'll take Matt Mask.
I'm kind of torn because
Jay Clean says Irakli.
because I'm leaning. Like I said, people, when I make these predictions, this is nothing personal against anybody. It's just, I'm kind of weighing my options, And some of these matches, I might end up going back and forth. I might change my mind before Saturday hits. Yeah, it's just tough because I would have a clear decision had this been right-handed, but it's not. So I'm not really sure how that would unfold. When was the last time Matt pulled a significant, important match on the left?
Well, it's been a while. He pulled Ole Danilov in Canada, but I'm not sure what he's done since then. Was there another match? Chat, help us out here.
And yes, Jay Clean says they were saying that before his match with Nugo, but I picked Nugo because I just think that guy is something special too. But I don't think that was a left-handed match, was it not? I think that match with Matt and Nugo was right-handed. So
this left-handed match was just kind of thrown in there because like they were talking trash to each other, and then Matt just kind of threw it out there to let's have a left-handed match because. But
I guess what I'm trying to say is that it'd be easier for me to say Matt if it was a right-handed match.
Yeah.
But with left-hand, I just don't know. It's different. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm gonna have to go with directly. I'm sorry.
Well, we disagree. That's good.
Yeah.
There will be a clear winner. All right, Bortolato versus Manuel Battaglia, which I was offered this match, FYI.
Really?
Yeah, I was offered the Wagner match, and it was the worst possible timing.
This will be the second time you're offered a match with him. Weren't you supposed to be offered him a match at Knuckles Up?
Yes, and what a nice little throwback to our original topic here, because I believe that is the first time that WAF was interfered with a North American promotion in a significant way.
And that was last
year. The time that Gabby got pulled off the card because of I believe it was, it was a bunch of the guys that were coming over here that were banned and competing.
Right.
And Wagner said that he injured himself. Now, whether he did or he didn't, the fact remains that all this was in play and he pulled out of the match, and I ended up against Pavlo instead. But yes, Wagner, we'll call this one 1-1. We've each had to back out of a match with the other guy, so maybe someday.
So at what point do we say, okay, make this happen?
Well, maybe someday. Now, I don't know where his opponent sits.
What's his name again? I never heard of him. If I'm being honest.
Manuel Battaglia. Now, I know he's good. Is he strong enough to hang there with Wagner? And even if he's not, will Wagner gas partway through this match?
That's what makes me want to not pick Wagner, because his gas tank is not the best. I wonder.
No, he's like the Ultimate Warrior. He runs to the cave or runs to the ring, and he's tired by the time he gets there.
The only thing he's missing is a bunch of shoestrings on his arms.
Yep.
I wonder, if he hadn't done all that, how much juice he had in the tank.
I don't know.
And we know that obviously this is left-handed. That's for sure.
It is a left arm super heavyweight match.
He scares me, man, because it's just, at least this is not an East versus West where it was like 6 rounds. At least this is more like best of 5. But still, it's like, man, I'm going Manuel because I just don't trust the gas tank of Wagner. But he's strong as shit, though.
Well, I'm going to go Wagner.
All right.
I just think too much brute strength.
Yeah. I'll be the odd man out. Not a problem. Who's next?
Morozov versus Kurdecha, right arm, super heavyweight.
Man, how is Morozov's health?
It better be good, because I'll tell you right now, I'll pick Alex. Now, here's the weird part. Alex has two like extremely high level matches on the same card.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you know, when you do something like that, you know, I wonder, because it's like going, you could probably get away with that at a local event, you know, oh, I got two super matches or whatever. But at this, with the athletes he's about to go against, and I'm assuming this match will be before the other one, right?
Yeah.
Of the two, no. I would have happened. So,
I mean, Alex did take that loss to the slap fighting guy, so maybe we should consider that.
Oh, God. You were there in person. You know how that all unfolded. Hey, he got a free belt out of it, right?
I had that guy on it, East versus West.
See, that's the thing, because speaking of all that kind of stuff, you don't have your belt in the background. I'm going Morozov.
Yeah. I'm taking Kardeccia.
There you go.
Monster Michael Todd versus Georgi Zaranov.
I will let you go first on this one, because
I don't think I'm going to go first on this one, Jody. I think you're going to go first on this one, and I think I know where you're going to pick.
Here's the thing, right? Because I think a lot of us, it's going to be a situation that goes like this. I'm going to start off way out in left field, but by the time I get done, it'll link together. And I'm going to say Levon for a second, who has nothing to do with this match. But I think at one point, the new and improved Todd was like, okay, because, you know, Todd is the only person who can reinvent himself so many times. I think when he was on his last reinvention, before he took the last two losses, I think a lot of us are kind of going, okay, we've seen different styles against Levon, and it hasn't quite worked. We've seen Devin style, didn't work. We've seen Gasparini, part one, didn't really, made him scared, but didn't really work. We've seen Jerry style, didn't work. And so you're kind of going, okay, well, maybe Michael is that unorthodox style, right? Well, before that, he had a couple hiccups along the way, right? He lost to Hermes, right? And then the last one he lost to was Vitali. And both matches, he lost 3-0. And then now all of a sudden he's on this card. And I'm wondering, like, going, okay, do we really want to? I'm concerned, because was it too soon? Does that make sense?
Only Michael knows.
I mean, because it's like going, take a break, man. Take a break, step back, and kind of go, okay, let's reevaluate this. Because on paper, you know, Michael should win. But again, it's like going, okay, what are we doing here? And I only say that because everybody trains differently, right? Can we agree? Can we agree about that one? Everybody trains differently.
Absolutely, we can.
Okay, so in doing so, is all those lists that Michael Todd's doing, is it benefiting him on the table? Honest question. Does it benefit his style?
I don't know.
Because now, once upon a time, you know, and here's what gets me, because as soon as Michael is laughing, yucking it up, he knows he knows if you follow Michael Todd the way I do, because I love the guy. When he jokes and kind of laughs it off, he lost that monster in him. It's done. It's over. And you saw that in his last two matches. He knew that, okay, this ain't going. This is not my day. That's when he's like, you know, joking, you know, that kind of. He's lost that. I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. I don't know if those two matches, the two last matches he had, were like just, you know, I don't know. Because Jay Clean says, I'm assuming he's talking about his workouts, the PRs, it's clearly helped. I don't know if he's being serious. I don't know if he's being sarcastic. I mean, he was in those matches to a certain degree, but I think it's all mental, you know? Yeah, Jay Clean, he stopped Vitaly center table, but the old Michael would have stopped him, and then where are you going now? And he just couldn't finish it. That's where I'm going with that. So just to kind of let you guys know. So getting back to my point, we all thought Michael, his trajectory, he might be the one that beats Levon because of his style. But now he can't beat the guys who are like, I guess you could say, one tier below, because Levon's pretty much head and shoulders above the rest right now. I think we can all agree about that. But, there's so many people in that one tier down that's like going, and you're getting 3-0 to people. I don't know. Like, I want Michael to win so bad to get another crack to get back up to where he can get to, Levon. But damn, I don't know now. But I'm still going with him. That was kind of a long-winded statement, but I'm still going with him.
Yeah, I'll take Michael.
And I say that because no offense against Georgie, but Georgie's not Vitaly, and he's not Hermes.
Well, the second you're right about that, though. The second Michael's like he's not the monster anymore, and he comes in there and he's joking around, it's over. And
yeah, it's done.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, look at that. I hate it when he turns into a stand-up comedian mid-match. It's like, yeah, it's over. Yeah, exactly. See? They gets what I'm saying. It's like, dude, what the fuck? Like match one and man, shit. I'm seeing people go down 2-0 and come back and win the motherfucker, right? Matter of fact, I've seen, if I'm not mistaken, at one of the King of the Table events, if I'm not mistaken, I remember Sabin go down 2-0 against Pablo, and Sabin came back and won 3 straight. It's doable, folks. It's doable. And that happened on the King of the Table, by the way.
Well, let's talk about our only women's match.
Yes.
Fia versus, is it Elin? Is that how you say it?
I guess.
Wow.
I know Fia. I know nothing about the other one. I have no idea.
Well, until I get more data, it's going to be Fia. That's it. Fia is my pick because she is tested, proven. She has looked so good lately. And that's that.
Yeah. Jake Lynn goes, I like how that's the match you remember, Jody. I mean, I'm just being honest. Like, I don't know why that match pops in my head, but when someone's down 2-0 and then they come back and win 3 straight, I mean, that speaks wonders,
Yeah.
So that just tells me that is doable. So, Mike, if you get down 2-0, don't hang it up yet, man. Can we all agree on this? When in super match format, I want your opinion. Everybody in the chat, I want y'all's opinion too. Once you lose one of the rounds in your super match, the person who got the pin normally doesn't change. Hey, until proven otherwise, why should I change my style when I just beat you with my style?
Yeah.
It's the person who got pinned or lost that has to make the adjustment. Is that fair enough to say?
Yeah. I have 2 additional bonus predictions at the end of our match predictions. Let's go Devin Laird, Alex Kurdecha, left arm super heavyweight. And no, I don't think for a second Devin has stopped training. Whoever said that? But this is some factors going into this. Alex will have already competed with the right arm.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's going up against Devin with the left arm. Alex's left is his good arm, so I am told. And we'll see where they're at. I don't know. I think
the last time Devin was really truly tested on the left would be against Jablonski, right?
Well, and Camille won that match. So
yeah. And now he's poking at Camille, which is funny. It's like, okay.
I just think there's so much going on, like that Devin brings into a match that isn't.
Ooh,
right.
Stack says Alex is facing Devin first.
Oh, well, that changes everything. That changes everything. If it's Devin first, which doesn't look that way the way this is laid out, because they've got Devin's match looks like right before the main event with Alex.
Okay, Legia says Devin versus Alex is first. They just forced Devin on top of the card poster because otherwise the earth will stop spinning.
Fair. Fair point. Fair point. Okay. Well, then I think I will take Alex.
If Alex pulls this off, where does that put Devin left-handed?
I don't think it really moves the needle at all. I mean, if Alex wins, he might be able to pull significant matches going forward and move up the ranks. I don't think if Devin wins, it changes anything with Devin's left hand.
David Jansen says Ingen explained yesterday that Devin versus Alex is priority over Morozov.
Well, it should be. I mean, that left-handed match has more implications title-wise than the right arm match.
Man, I wish I had the top 10 on here. That way I can kind of see what's going on. Let me see if I got the top 10. Because sometimes, Ingo will put the top 10 left and right up here. I got to see if I can find that.
You got to remember, this is a best of 5, guys. So, I mean, endurance won't be as important. I think Alex should be able to put together 3 pins without gassing out, I would hope.
Well, a lot depends on the setup. You and I know that, right?
Yeah. Setup and reffing.
Here we go. So, okay. So, right now, this is your top 5 left-handed in the East versus West world rankings. Vitali's 1, Morozov is 2, David Dadikan's 3, Alex is 4, Alijan is 5.
Where was Devin in that list?
He's not.
Well, I guess he would move into there if he wins.
Because the bottom 5 goes Matyushenko, Jablonski, Tobias, Georgia, Zoranov, and then Wagner is 10. So Devin's not even in the top 10 on the left.
He should be top 10 on the left for sure. I think he should probably be somewhere around 6.
So why? Okay, so let me ask you a question. Then why is Devin on here, and yet he's pulled more times left-handed than fucking Wagner has, and Wagner's 10? And Jay Clinton Jablonski is.
Were Devin's matches at super heavyweight, or were they in the lower class?
What's that?
Were Devin's left-handed matches at super heavyweight, or were they in the lower class?
Ooh, good question.
That might be why.
Okay, because this is super heavyweight.
Yeah.
So Devin is 11, David Jansen said. Jablonski is 9. No, Jablonski is 7.
Yeah.
Looking right here, y'all. Looking right here.
Devin, okay, GB, I agree. Well, Devin doesn't really smash anybody, but he would beat him because he did beat him. He beat a very strong version of him at a much smaller weight.
Yeah, I get it, Jake. I think 7 for Jablonski is still pretty low, but hey, maybe because like I said,
he's got time.
Yeah. So, I'm supposed to pick somebody. Okay.
Oh, you got to pick somebody. You didn't pick yet?
Well, man, like now that we know that this match is first, same thing you said, changes everything, Because I want to see some fresh faces rise up. Because now, if Alex wins, the only people in front of him and Vitali is Dadikan and Morozov. So
let's not forget.
He's pulling him right hand, which is weird, but whatever.
Levon could be back in the left hand at any time.
Yeah, Richard's right. Devin didn't have any left hand super matches since Corey West.
Yeah. Nick Stone in the house.
Stoney.
Main event, Levon and Hermes. The champ stays the champ.
Think so?
Yep.
You care to, elaborate?
I just don't think. I think Hermes has put so much pressure on himself. He's going to be hearing all this stuff about how he was the guy that almost did it. Almost got Levon at one point. And Levon will be nervous enough that he takes the match extremely seriously. because of how Hermes did last time. And I think it's just going to be a one-sided thrashing.
You think so? You think it'll be one-sided again?
I don't think it was that one-sided last time. I think it'll be more one-sided this time.
I'm trying to figure out because, you know, here's the thing. I'll say this, and tell me if I'm wrong, everybody. If some way, somehow, Hermes wins this, you're going to have everybody jumping on board to go, I want the match. That opens up a whole can of worms because Levon is so dominant now that you're starting to run out of people who could challenge for him.
I guarantee you, if Hermes wins, his next match is Devin Lair right-handed.
Out the gate?
Right out the gate. And then you have an Hermes beating Levon beating Devin beating Hermes situation. And around they'll go. But it's not going to happen because Levon's just going to win.
Yeah, I say that because can you imagine the possibility? I mean, I know it'll probably be Devin, but the possibilities, because now what is, you know, if that's the case, what does Vitaly think? Hermes won? You know, what does a Devin think? Oh, that's beatable. That's a winnable match. You know? Yeah. Now all these big time players now kind of going, oh yeah, throw my name in the hat. What's up? What can I do to win?
It won't happen this time. I think it's Levon all day.
Do you want to put a bonus and go? You saying 3-0 sweep?
Yeah, I will.
I'm going to do this. I'm going to pick Levon. But I'm gonna put an asterisk by that.
Now, in the event of a tie, be very mindful of my wording here. In the event of a tie, how many matches not involving Devin Larratt will we see Jody Larratt on stage?
Ooh. Was she on the stage when Devin pulled Corey West?
I don't know.
So
I'm going to say, I'll pick first.
Go ahead.
4. She'll be on for 4 matches that aren't involving Devin. At some point.
I'm gonna do this. If title matches are what? Best of 6, right? Or 6 rounds? Is that what it is? Because David said it's 4-0 for title matches. I'm gonna do this.
Best of 7.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say this. Because Levon's gonna win. Okay, hear me out. And this is why I'm going to put an asterisk right here. And I'm going to say it on the show at the 58-minute and 40-second mark. Levon will get pinned. But he'll win the entire thing.
Okay.
And everybody's going to talk about that one pin.
Okay.
I think Hermes is going to put all his eggs in that basket, get that pin, and then Levon's going to get pissed off, and then he's just going to blow him out of the water. But everybody's going to be talking about that one loss he had. That's my prediction.
Now, what's your number for the other one I said?
Let me look at my list again.
I can probably pick the matches as well.
I'll say 3.
I'm going to say 4.
I'll say 3, and I'll say it'll be Matt Mass, Alan Ford, and Wagner.
Those are the ones that I'm sure about. Somehow, I'm not even going to go there. We'll see. I'm going to say 4. This is only in the event of a tie that this comes into play.
Okay. Tiebreaker.
But we will tell you the result at the end of it all.
Yeah, so that's my prediction.
Now,
Levon
if you are
will
correct,
win.
and
He'll get
Levon does
pinned.
get pinned once. If you are correct, Levon will come back and do some weird thing we never see, like he'll just flop wrist press or something.
I'm telling you, Hermes will get that pin, and fucking next thing you know, and you know what? I'll even go deeper and say that pin will be a parallel pin.
You're getting very specific now.
Yes, I'm saying it right now that and everybody and you know, I'm saying right now. Watch, I'm gonna put this on here too. Hermes will get a pin on Levon. It'll be a parallel pin.
If he does get a pin, there's a very good chance he wins the whole thing.
A lot of people say that kind of. I'm just curious why. Like, do not people make the adjustment?
Stacks put it really well. Said it with the psychological damage that will bring, knowing that Hermes created history, and with that, his confidence shoots up like never before. If he gets pinned and stretched out, who knows what toll it will take on his arm, because we've never really seen it. Well, we haven't for many years. Right. There's all kinds of scenarios that can play out here. But Jody, we got to get off here because we got some stuff to talk about.
Right. I'm gonna order it, but I ain't gonna watch it because I got my own event that day, so I won't be watching it live.
All right, everybody. See you next week for the recap. Probably.
Hey, I'm part Canadian.